Um, and then I will call out on my colleagues who are joining me for this session. And thank you for those who are providing your introductions in the chat. That's really appreciated for us. So I would like to call Yves Coquet. I see you there. Great you're with us. Thanks.
Hello.
We'll come back to you in a minute. And then we have Erik Fahlbeck. Are you with us?
Yes,
please?
Good morning.
Confirm. Speak a little bit closer to the microphone.
Yes, hope this is better.
Yes, lovely. Great. Thank you. And then I'm asking if Bozena, are you with us? Smezak?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Fantastic. And audio and video is working perfect. Yes. Thank you very much, colleagues, for joining. And thank you, all of you, to join us. So we will start, and welcome to this open webinar of EJP Soils. And my name is Jennie Barron, and this is the first open webinar we have, and I'm very happy that we're dedicating it to the current state and future needs for soil science capacity in Europe. And this particular webinar is hosted by the EJP Soils Work Package 5, we call ourselves. It's a dedicated work package to education, training, and capacity building. And the main lead partners in this, together with all the partners of EJP Soils, is the Swedish University of Agriculture Sciences, IUNG in Poland, Maastricht, Wageningen University in Netherlands, Agro Paris Tech, and Agro Campus West in France. I was going to say Paris, but they're not both in Paris. We will, we have a session program, and I'm just doing the welcome, and you are providing your welcomes and introductions in the chat if you want to. We will have a little bit of an exercise as well to really dive into who are you, who's joining us today. Then we will have a keynote that will present the summary findings of the European Higher Education in Soil Science survey that was conducted in 2020 and 2021, and Erik Fahlbeck will present that. After that, we will have a little bit of an interaction, which is a taster on an upcoming study that we're doing in our partnership on future expertise and skills needs for soil science in Europe. And this will be facilitated by Yves Coquet. And then we'll wrap up with a few information points on opportunities to engage further with us, especially related to early career opportunities and staff exchanges. Bozena will present for us, and then I will close and thanks just in time for lunch, I hope. Before we start, I would like you to, so we can all have a good meeting. We have very many people around the table. Please mute your microphones, except when you're invited to speak. And please use the chat box, and my colleagues will help us to try to facilitate, and we will take as many questions and comments as we can. If we cannot answer them now, we will have this record to help hopefully be able to connect back to you after the session. We really like your comments and your questions. Keep your questions and comments to the point, and to allow more people to engage. And please have your mobile ready, because we will do some Mentimeter to engage a little bit more. But first, I would just want to share a few introduction points on the European Joint Partnership Soil. As many of you are aware, we have multiple challenges around our very precious resources of soils, globally, locally. It's about our sustainable and healthy food. It's about the climate change and the mechanism that soils do to regulate, or what we need to do to adapt to have healthier soils. It's about the being environment and biodiversity, and not the least affecting our water qualities. And of course, it's the soil degradation itself And all this is a very complex issue relating to many societal and individual people, affecting economies and well-being. The EJP soil is put into this mix of issues and problems, especially going forward. And we have a vision in our partnership that we want to work for climate smart, sustainable management of agriculture soils in particular. But of course, some of it can be applied to other soil uses as well. And the soil EJP soil ambition is exactly that, to provide and contribute towards climate smart, sustainable management of agriculture soils. It's a lead partnership of INRA-A and Wageningen University. And there's 26 partner institutions and additional associated partners in 24 countries in Europe. It's a project or a program that is ongoing we started in 2020 for 5 years, funded by the EC and contributions by partner organizations. I just briefly want to say that there are several components of this big partnership, of course, but some of it is really to advance cutting edge science and knowledge around understanding soil management for climate change mitigation and adaptation, for sustainable agriculture production and the environment. And secondly, to understand especially the carbon sequestration, the role of carbon and its contribution to climate mitigations. There are also other elements like strengthening the scientific capacity and cooperation within the scientific sector and with stakeholders and the broader society. We work with local partners, national hubs, and of course with the interaction with other initiatives on soil science and soil knowledge in Europe. There's a big effort on harmonized European soil information, and there is also an element of fostering the uptake of this new knowledge for better soil management practices for adaptation and mitigation. And we have a small element also related to region-specific fertilization practices. I invite you to come and, if you haven't been there, join and have a look at the EJP soil, and maybe also connect with your country representatives of EJP soil to learn more. As I said, today, we will focus on the elements of education, training, and capacity building. We know that this is essential to meet the global and local challenges around soil management and sustainable production in a climate smart way. And the key things we will speak about today is the assessment of the current stage and the exploring the future needs of soil science expertise and competencies in higher education. The second set of activities that we do related to education, training, and capacity building is that we work actively and support our partners to strengthen research capacity and research network in the European Joint Partnership Soil. And this is through a range of activities that Božena will speak about towards the end. So if you now have your mobile phones ready, we would like you to connect with us and tell us who you are in the room today. I hope you have your Mentimeter ready, and I will. So I'll stop sharing and I'll hand over to my colleague, Marina, to help us with the Mentimeter exercise to see who is in the room today. Marina?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Fantastic. Lovely. Thank you very much.
So first question.
So first of all, we would like to know, who do you represent? Are you from the teaching and education, from a research dominated sector organization, Maybe you're a practitioner, including farmer or extension service, private sector, or public service or policy. And that could be, of course, at local or national, international level. And then we have others. Great, fantastic. We have a dominance of research. We tend to reach out to do our research here, but I'm very happy to see that we have a few other representatives of different sectors with us today. And we have still a few submissions coming in. So I'll give it one more. Oh, yes. Fantastic. Yes, we have clearly a dominance of researchers with us today. And indeed, we need to really connect the teaching and capacity building education efforts closer with the research. And this is part of our work today. So I'm very happy that we're here. And I would like to say especially welcome to those of you who are representing our sectors of practitioners, private sector, and public and policy here, and of course the others who you may be. And thank you very much for submitting this. Can we take the next one, Marie? Please. So we would like to take this the right way. Are you considering yourself as a soils person? So we have a few different options here. We have people who work with soils in one way or another, and also trained in soils or soil science related topics. Then we have a lot of people working with soils, but might have had another type of training as a background or basis. And we have a few who are working with other training and work duties, and none of the options are relevant. And of course, the most interesting are always the ones we don't know what they are. So thank you very much for contributing here. And we see clearly today we have reached out and reached a significant community of people, both working with soils one way or another, and of course having a bit of training or a lot of training in soil science related topics. So thank you very much. This is very helpful to us. And again, I really welcome those of you who are joining us for who might not have a tradition or a strong background in soil science, which is not necessary at all for this open webinar of ours. Thank you. Can we move back to the presentation now? On my side, thank you. So with this, I would like to, now we know who are in the room and you're all very welcome. So with this, I would like to hand over to our first presenter, Erik Fahlbeck, who will present the summary findings of a survey that we conducted in 2020 and 2021. And maybe some of you have also contributed to on European higher education in soil science. So I'll stop sharing and hand over to Erik, please.
Thanks a lot. Let's see if I can share this presentation with you. Yes, and start with the findings. That was not the idea. So I hope that is that you can see it now. Thanks a lot, Jennie. This study was mainly done by Anna Villasoulis, but she's on parental leave now, and I will give you the main findings. And the study object was to provide a baseline of soil science in higher education in Europe. We specifically focused on institutional capacity and the main subjects, the academic topics and degree provision, teaching and learning, internationalization and integration. And what you have here will be a short presentation. There are more details coming in the final report this end of the summer. We had 94 full responses. We sent it out to all EJP SOIL partners and to additional countries in Europe, and we also announced it. So we don't exactly know how many that really got it, but the response rate is roughly 35%. And the red bars are those that we sent it to, and the blue bars are the respondents who filled in. So you see all countries in EJP SOIL are covered, some with many, others with only a few or single ones. This picture, I think, is really striking. We can see that a very few departments or institutions, they have really big capacity in the sense that they have 250 to 350 staff, academic staff. But we also see that a very clear majority of those that respond to this survey are much smaller environments with less than 50 people in the academic staff, and often, as we will see later on, shared among many different subjects. So the clear majority of those responding are in much smaller environments in soil science. We can see that a very clear majority of the teachers who take part in higher education teaching and learning, they have specific training for this. It's the first, you see that it's almost 70% with the response that they have. And we also see that the majority of the respondents say that all staff who teach hold a PhD. Among those that say that is not the case, a majority still have. And they also say in the free text answers that they want to have other experiences covered in the programs and courses, and therefore they use teachers with other kind of backgrounds, for example, coming from industry. Academic topics taught and degrees offered. As mentioned, only a few of the respondents are active in soil science departments that are exclusively soil science departments. Some 85% are active in areas where soil science is a subcomponent. And courses and the programs in soil science often show up in environmental science, in natural environments and wildlife, earth science, environmental protection, crop and livestock, forestry, and other areas. Trends in teaching. Here we asked respondents to agree or disagree to a number of statements. During later years, higher education institutions provide more programs for part-time students, lifelong learning. A clear majority agree to this. And study programs over time include more generic competences like communication skills, teamwork, and learning to learn. Almost everyone agrees to that. On the other hand, when we look upon teaching in soil science has become more prominent in the last 5 years, it's a very mixed picture. Just as many disagree as those who agree to that one. Teaching and learning. We asked for what kind of teaching is used in courses and programs, and they had a number of options, and we can very clearly see that lectures dominate, especially on bachelor's level. For example, computer-based teaching and modeling, it is not at all prominent at bachelor's level. It becomes a little bit more used at master's level as other kind of ways to teach, except for lectures who dominate on all levels. We can see in the free text answers that a number of those who respond say they would like to see more field work in courses and programs. And we can also see a low degree of renewal and changed curricula during later years in soil science. What we know, however, is that the Sustainable Development Goals are covered. We don't show a picture on that because most respondents said those are covered. We also asked whether they include policy elements in the soil science programs and courses. And as you can see, national legislation comes up very often, but also the Common Agricultural Policy and the EU Water Framework Directive is very commonly included. Green Deal, farm to fork, etc., not at all as much used in courses and programs. We know from the answers, you will only get a sketch here, that internationalization is very important. It's an issue for many of the responding departments and institutions. And of course, one of the tools that can increase internationalization and integration is a common language. And then we can see that at bachelor's level, the local language totally dominate in teaching. At master's level, it is a little bit more common with English programs, but still a very clear dominance of local language. And a little bit surprising, I would say, is that also on PhD level, it's about as many who says that they have their programs on local language as those who say they have it in English. We also asked in what are the main priorities related to internationalization, and here students are in focus. Attracting students from abroad at all levels was the most commonly agreed statement. Developing strategic research partnership with other institutions, also very important. Providing our students with more opportunities to have a learning experience abroad, important. Internationalization in general, learning and teaching, yes. And developing strategic partnership with other institutions regarding teaching and learning. And then it was a number of other ones also who were not as much chosen. When we look upon the findings, we can very clearly see, as you have seen here, that soil science today is mainly offered in courses and programs within a broader departments in higher education institutions in Europe. Only a few have pure soil science departments, and a very clear majority of the staff, they hold specific training for in pedagogics for teaching in higher education institutions, and they have a PhD most often. Very few have relatively large scientific staff and groups, but a vast majority are active in small groups, and traditional teaching, lecturing dominates. We tried to see whether there were trends and correlations, for example, between size and the way of teaching, or size and aspects of internationalization. We found no correlation among the answers. So it looks as if you can find many specific ways of teaching or making your priorities, no matter in what country you are or what size it is, for example. But smaller countries seem to have more programs in English. And internationalization is of high priority. And many have plans for or already have joined programs, for example. Many stress the importance of lifelong learning, but only a few report renewal in programs and courses. And we see that interaction with the private sector is not so prominent. We ask for future opportunities for students, and it's a rather positive view. Most think it is a positive future labor market, and many relate this to an increased importance for soil science in society, related to issues like climate, environment, and sustainable development. At the same time, we see that student enrollment is rather stable, and in the free text answers, among those countries that report a decrease, they most often relate that to low attraction in soil science or agriculture or general development in the society. So these were briefly the main findings. Jennie.
Thank you very much, Erik, for this very quick summary with a lot of information about the current state of higher education of soil science in Europe. And we have a question here. We have time for at least one question here. And Narasina Shurpali, with the EJP Soil as a basis, is there a plan to set up some EU-level organization, for example, for research? I think that's beyond the scope for us to respond to, but maybe for the education issues. There is currently such facilities, CERN, aerosol studies, climate, etc. Would you have any ideas about that, or is that something that you're aware of?
I am not aware of the survey can be used to clearly show that, as mentioned, there are a number of institutions in various European countries that already have joint programs or that plan for joint programs or show a very clear interest in deepening international collaboration. And that's, of course, a good basis for this kind of initiative as EJP Soil, but we can't find more specific details in the survey.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I represented your question, Narashin Sina.
Yes, thank you. My question was not per se to Erik. It was more sort of a general question. Probably I should have asked this question at the end so that we could all sort of think about this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. We can pick up on that one if time allows. Otherwise, I'll take it back to the leadership of the European Joint Partnership SOIL, and maybe our program leaders can help us with some of these more general questions. We have here Saskia Kestra.
Yes.
You have you're asking for an opinion.
Yes.
You're asking if you think that the fact that soil science is embedded in other academic topical departments or programs, if that's good or bad.
Yeah, how you view this? Whether you think that this is the good direction or the wrong direction?
I think it is good and bad. I think it's a very clear opportunity to set up programs where soil science comes in a broader context, and therefore it can be strengthened. It can strengthen the competence needed in the future. But on the other hand, we also, of course, need even deeper specialists. And if so many of the responding departments and institutions have very small groups, then we will have a problem with finding the very deep competence. So an increased specialization within higher education institutions in Europe, I think, would be the way forward. Those that have capacity, the big ones, to really strengthen the in-depth, the inner scientific knowledge, I think they really ought to do that. And other ones maybe have a better opportunity with embedded conditions and options.
Thank you very much, Erik. We will move on to the future. And I will introduce to you Yves Coquet of AgriParisTech, who will take us through some points for the future capacity and competence needs for soils expertise in Europe. And would you like to speak about your activity in EJP Soils that you're just about to accelerate in activity, please?
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I'm Yves Coquet. I'm professor of soil science at AgriParisTech. And I'm really pleased to introduce you with a new survey. So Erik has been presenting a completed survey about the current status of higher education in soil science. And as Erik mentioned, that in the findings of the work, there's you saw that people tend to think that there will be more future jobs in soil science, more job opportunities in soil science. So we need to define what could be these jobs in the future. So that's the purpose of the survey. The objective is to anticipate the soil science skills needed in the future, which means we see a window of over the next 20 years. The rationale for this study is the fact that indeed, as we know, societies are evolving at fast pace, and the soil science education need to follow these fast changes. And soil science has to contribute to those grand challenges that Erik mentioned, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Horizon Europe, etc. And on top of that, climate change mitigation, adaptation, which is an important central topic of the EJP soil. There is a need to strengthen soil science capacity in all sectors in Europe, and especially private and public sectors out of the academia. And another important point is to keep in mind that EJP focuses on agricultural soils. It means that we will not address in the survey issues regarding polluted soil or contaminated soils. And the level of education we are targeting, it's not only PhD, but we start from the undergraduate bachelor science level up to the PhD level. So the results of the outcome of the survey will be some recommendations of skills that could be developed in education programs, but of course we won't go to how those skills should be implemented in the future education programs. Can you, okay. So as a teaser for this survey, which will come later on, I propose that you respond live on 2 questions. So very broad general questions. Of course, the survey will address more specific all these questions in more details. So I was wondering, is Marina able to? Okay, so we follow on this Mentimeter tool. So the first general question I would like to ask you, in your opinion, what soil knowledge or what methods specifically relating to soil will be the most important in the next 20 years for having a productive and climate smart agriculture? So you should be able to respond with Mentimeter. I think you have 2, you can give 2 responses, I guess. Let me check if I. Okay. So you should be able to enter words, and then we see the world cloud building up. So the size of the words are related to the frequency of those words in your responses. So we clearly see carbon sequestration is a very important topic to master in the future. So we'll wait a little bit. Yeah, still carbon sequestration keeps the head of the, and we see more and more diverse topics. So clearly that is very interesting for the survey coming. So we will indeed, in the survey we are currently preparing, there are quite a few topics that will be listed and on which respondents will be able to give their opinion on whether it is essential or not relevant. Thank you very much. So we see that the soil knowledge about carbon sequestration and biodiversity and more generally soil health are very important topics to address in the future. So that will be very helpful. We'll see with the survey if we have the same result, but that gives you already an idea of the most important topics. So I guess this is a mix of all 2 words that you were able to give. So okay, thank you very much. So maybe we can pass to the next question, which is a bit different. So this first question was open, so you could give express yourself and give in your own words your response here. We can, if you don't see, you can enlarge with the moving the limitation between the cameras and the presentation. So which skills will be most important in the next 20 years? So we have communication and facilitation. We have knowing soil functions and characteristics, innovation and management, modeling statistics and data management, what we could call soil data science, understanding farmers' needs, and understanding policymakers' needs, and eventually others, but we won't be able to know what you have in mind. But okay, thank you very much. So, okay, we're talking about soil, knowing about soil functions and soil characteristics is certainly relevant. Yeah, we need all of them, says Daria. Yeah, and of course you can. I think you can click on all the buttons. So, but it gives. There will be also a possibility to. There could be a possibility to rank those skills in the survey. So here we see the most important skills. More generic skills are those related to the knowledge of soil, modeling, statistics, and data management. Indeed, we see. I don't know if we will have later on a discussion about soil science data and the education related to it. We have also innovation and management. Understanding farmers' needs is important. So we see we are a large community of researchers and teachers, but still aware of the importance of getting opinion and the needs of the farmers, well, the ultimate managers of agricultural soils. Okay. Yeah, we see, yes, indeed, we see that there's a understanding policymakers' needs is not highly ranked. So although this is an important part of EJP, but so that needs also, we clearly see the link to farmers, but less clearly the link to policymakers. So maybe EJP would be a place to foster this link. Okay, thank you very much for your responses, which gives us a clear idea. We had a little exercise similar to that one within EJP about the soil knowledge and skills more generally, and indeed communication came very largely, and regarding soil ecology, biodiversity. So we see biodiversity was present here too. So and we had also some propositions on pedo-economy, which is quite a new concept. Okay, thank you everyone. So maybe we can go back to the presentation. Jennie.
Yes, we're back. We're back with the main presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contributions. And these are really valuable because you're a big group and you have a diverse representation in the room today. So these are really helpful input for the team to continue. And and his colleagues, they will distribute this survey about the skills and future expertise needs around July, August. We're expecting this one to come through. Or you can engage again on the Eurosoil 2021, where there will be another dedicated session with Yves and his colleagues. So please look out for this opportunity and help us shape our insights for the future. So thank you, Yves, and thank you all for your contributions. Now I'll hand over to Bozena Smrezak to just speak a little bit about the opportunities to engage with us coming up.
Hello, everyone. I would like to present you our offer to participate in different our activities provided by VP5. The first one is the scientific visit support program. The first call was launched in August. Now we will have the first results. We already had 7 applications, so we hope that in the very near future, I mean in September, we'll have even more applications for to support young researchers and also researchers on different stage of their career to spend up to 2 weeks in different research centers, EJP, in EJP partners and non-EJP. So those criteria and rules are provided are available on the EJP SOIL webpage. The other activity, maybe I will also mention now that we'll launch calls for this program, scientific visit support program, twice a year. So we start this year, and then the next call will be launched in September, and next year's from also in 2022 and 2023, we'll have another 4 calls. So you can check information on the website, and we will send you this information about calls. The next activity I would like to present you is the PhD school. We'll have at least 4 courses, and they will be focused on soil science knowledge, and then they will be organized in different EJP soil centers, and different groups of lecturers will provide their lectures within those courses. I think they will be very interested, and they will also focus on finding from our surveys. And the third one activity I would like to announce you is the training courses. We'll have 4 of them on data management and on new tools on data management. It is those courses will be focused on data harmonization and reporting to provide the same level of knowledge for all of EJP soil partner institutions. We will send you information on courses and also calls. So you can be with us and participate in our activities for the next years. Courses on PhD schools and course on new tools of soil data management will be organized this year. About first information will be announced in the autumn time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Božena, for those opportunities for further engagement for you or for your colleagues with EJP Soils. So we have a few minutes for questions and comments, and I've been trying to keep track on the chat here, but I also invite my colleagues around the table. And there was a question about, I think, to Yves. Which stakeholders are you engaging for the foresight survey work that is coming up in the future? Yves.
Yes, we'll send the survey to all the stakeholders categories that have been identified in EJP. So from policy makers to farmers organization, including industry or retailers. So we expect to have a very large diffusion of this survey. We will not be focusing, we will not be interrogating directly farmers, because it's a very difficult thing to do at the EU level. We would need to have some stratification and some quantitative method to sample these farmers. So it's beyond the scope of this survey. So we will rely essentially on the work done by the national hubs in identifying the national stakeholders in each country.
Thank you very much. And we have another question here from Peter Kriekman. Sorry if I pronounce your name not proper. And it's important to consider what skills for what type of job or type of communication even. Peter, do you want to clarify your question or your comment in short? If you're still with us,
yeah,
you, please.
Yes, I'm still with you. I wasn't clear what the skills for whom. Is it for the farmers community, today's farmers community, or our future farmers? We see in the Netherlands that many of the farmers that are starting today even have education at university levels. So what do they learn? Do they learn from their parents? Do they go by tradition? Or do we provide them with the most innovative, the most advanced systems thinking, so to say, just to make it black and white? And I think that the last point in how do we get up-to-date knowledge into the farmers community, and the future farmers community is a really crucial element in sustainable agriculture. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a nice input, that we need to blend different types of knowledge from different types of stakeholders or different communities of practice. That's really, really important when managing complex systems. So thanks for reinforcing that. I also see here there's I'll invite one more comment here from Mary Ritter related to the policy engagement. And I think that this is really important, because we have policymakers or public service connections related to our soils management at very local level, at national levels, and of course at international or European level. Mary, would you like to provide your comment, please, if you're still with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I just felt that the very low score on the policymaker was because of the question, rather than that people didn't think it was important. Because I think our interaction with policymakers is much more a mutual understanding, where we have to exchange knowledge so that we can base our policies on sound scientific evidence. So I think it's not as simple as saying the understanding of policymakers. I think we might have sort of been a little bit misleading in our replies to that particular aspect of the questions.
Well, thank you for strengthening that, and that sounds hopeful for the future, that we do have in sort of a bigger awareness than maybe our Mentimeter survey showed today. Thank you so much, Mary.
Yes, I think it's hugely important.
I could not agree more. Thank you so much. I think I have not missed any important questions. Please, my colleagues, would you like to help me if we have missed any important comments or questions in the I do not think, but feel free. Oh, Erik, yes, please.
Just to mention again, you're more than welcome to send in questions or reflections or whatever to Yves and to me and to Jennie. It would be great.
I would like, let's see. Oh, something happened here. I don't know what happened here really, but I would then like to thank you all who participated today and wanted to hear about some of our findings and possibilities to engage further around European higher education, capacity building around soil science. And please do not hesitate to get back to us. And we will provide the PowerPoint presentations presented here today on the website, I hope. And do engage and come back to us. And of course, do keep a lookout for the next open webinar of the European Joint Partnership of Soils. That will come more frequently also in autumn on different topics, and not the least some of the research findings from the different projects that are just ongoing now. So with that, I would like to close the meeting and wish you a really happy and good lunch for those of you who have the opportunity to do that. And thank you so much again, everyone. Thanks.
Bye, thank you.